MegaPodTastic.
Good morning, MegaPodlings. It's Krazy Joe, and as I record this, it is Friday, and it is 1 week since Universal Pictures released Trolls World Tour direct to the internet for streaming, rental online. They call it Theater at Home. You can get it wherever you get your digital movies. If you get them through iTunes, you can get it there. If you get them through Google Play, you can get them there. If you get it through Amazon, you can get it there. I always use Vudu. Vudu is my streaming service of choice. It's really the best streaming service there is. So that's what I use. And Trolls World Tour is a very interesting topic because a lot of people are viewing it as an experiment. Will this work? Will releasing brand new movies that would have gone to the theaters direct to the consumer to watch at home at a little bit of a higher price point than you usually rent a movie for, will that work? Will people go for it? Well, we know the answer now. It made about $50 million last weekend, which is nothing to sneeze at. That's not bad. It's not as good as it would have done in theaters, however. It's just not as profitable. Putting these movies at home is not as profitable. That's pretty obvious. But it didn't do bad, especially considering that Trolls World Tour was tracking very poorly, and this one probably wasn't going to perform so hot in theaters anyway. But the question of, is this a trend? Is this going to be the new normal? Will more and more studios be bypassing a theatrical release and going direct to theater at home? That's been the question on everyone's mind. Well, let's examine it. Let's ask the question. Will theater at home be the new normal? Okay, well, first of all, let's take a look at how this whole theater at home thing started. Movie theaters were forced to close in early March. Nobody saw that coming. It wasn't expected that movie theaters were going to have to close. And a lot of movies that opened in theaters only had a couple of weeks playing in theaters before the theaters shut down. Movies like Bloodshot and Onward and even The Hunt, which had just opened, I think, the week before, ended up coming to home streaming. The Invisible Man, which opened in February, now available at home. Universal was the first out of the gate with Invisible Man and The Hunt, and they announced right away that Trolls World Tour would be coming on its intended release date of April 10th. Now, the question on everyone's mind was surrounding Trolls 2, because the other movies did have a theatrical release. They did play theatrically for a week or two before the theaters shut down. But Trolls was going to be the first one to debut on streaming. And the question was, how would that do? Was it going to be profitable? Well, first of all, let's look at the difference between what Universal was doing and what the other studios were doing. Like I said, Universal was first out of the gate with Invisible Man and The Hunt, and then they followed it up with Trolls. All three of these movies are not available to purchase. They're available to rent. As if you were buying a ticket in the theater, you would go, you would buy your ticket, you'd sit in the theater, you'd watch it, and you'd go home. And what's it cost you to see a movie in the theater? Well, maybe about $10 if you don't have something like AMC's A-List or Regal's Movies Unlimited. If you don't have like the Regal Unlimited or the A-List, you're paying maybe about $10 a ticket, give or take. It also depends what part of the country you're in. A lot of variations there, but let's say $10. That's a good baseline price, right? So they're charging $20 for a rental. So the question is that worth it? Is it worth spending $20 to watch something at home that you could pay $10 for to see in the theater? Well, my answer is it really depends on the movie. It really depends on the movie, and it depends on the number of people that are going to be sitting watching that movie. Let's take a look at The Invisible Man and The Hunt. The Invisible Man and The Hunt, two movies that, I really enjoyed The Invisible Man, and I wanted to see The Hunt. I was very anxious to see The Hunt, never got to see it. Well, $20 for a rental. Okay. That's, if we're figuring that the $20 is what we would be paying for a ticket price, I'd pay $10 for a ticket price, except I wouldn't even pay $10 for a ticket price because I was using the AMC A-List up until now. So for me, I'm paying $20 to see 3 movies a month. So for me to pay $20 to watch The Hunt at home when I'm the only one in my house that's going to watch The Hunt, I have to say, no, it is not worth it. It is not worth it because I'm the only one watching the thing, and I wouldn't pay that to go to the movie theater to see it. So it becomes, there's no bargain there. There's no deal. Now let's take a look at Trolls World Tour. This is a movie that my wife and I would have taken the kids to see. 2 kids, 2 adults, $10 each for the adults, maybe a little bit less for the kids. I don't know. Again, we're estimating here. We're looking at closer to $40, whereas for $20, all of us can sit at home and watch the movie. Trolls 2 was worth the price because there were 4 of us going to watch it. It was worth it when you consider what it would have cost to, pay a ticket to see it in the movie theater. So I say yes, in this case, it was worth it. For us, for our family, because it was a movie the whole family was going to watch together. And also, you had the movie for 48 hours. My kids watched it a second time. They watched the movie again the next day. So they got to watch it twice. I would say, when we take movie ticket prices into account, we got our money's worth on Trolls World Tour. We spent less than we would have spent if we had gone out to the theater to see it. But that is not the case for something like The Hunt, because I'm the only one in this house who wants to see a horror movie. Kids aren't going to watch it. They're too young. They couldn't watch it if they wanted to. They're just too young. My wife, no interest in horror films. In fact, she hates them. So this is a movie I'd be watching alone. $20 to sit and watch a movie alone when I have the AMC A-list, and for $20 I could get 3 movies a week. There's no value there. All right, so that's me. That's my family. Let's take a look at the average consumer. Is this worth it to the average consumer? Do the studios have a market for something like this? And let's go to Trolls again. Let's take a look at Trolls. Again, I'm telling you, I'm comparing it to a movie theater experience because this is a movie that was supposed to play in the theaters. So I'm comparing it to what I would have paid to see it if I paid to see it in a movie theater. That's not necessarily the mentality everyone's going to have. I already saw some people saying, I'm not going to pay $20 for a rental. They're viewing it as just a rental like any other rental. Like if they rented some old movie from 10 years ago, it's going to cost them maybe $2.99 for the night if they get it in the best quality available. And they're seeing this as just another rental. They're not taking into account the fact that this would have been a theatrical release, that they would have had to leave their house, go to the theater, and spent more money to see. They're just seeing it as a rental. And I've already seen people online saying, why would I pay $20 for a rental? I'm not going to do that. That's too much money. And that's just what I've seen some people saying. Now I'm going to ask you this. How many streaming services do you subscribe to? Probably Netflix. I think just about everyone has Netflix. Probably Disney Plus. Disney Plus is doing very well for themselves. You might have Hulu. Do you have CBS All Access? Do you have Shudder? Do you have the WWE Network? I don't know. There's a lot of streaming services out there. I see online every day people complaining about the number of streaming services and saying, oh, great, this is another streaming service I have to pay for. I see that daily. Now, as a Star Trek fan, I am a member of a lot of Star Trek Facebook groups. Star Trek Discovery and now Star Trek Picard stream exclusively on CBS All Access. I can't tell you how many times I see on Facebook groups devoted to Star Trek people saying, I want to watch Discovery, I want to watch Picard, but I will not pay for another streaming service. I will not pay the $6 a month to watch just one show. There's just not enough on CBS All Access. For $6 a month, I'd just be paying for that one show for Star Trek. That's it. That's all I'd be paying for. And that is not worth it. Now I ask you this. A show like Star Trek Discovery, they're going to produce 1 episode a week, right? 1 episode a week. That's 1 hour of television programming per week. Let's say you sign up just for the season of Discovery. 10 episodes. And you can even sign up the last month. You could sign up the final month and just binge everything that came before. You don't have to start with the season premiere. You could pay for 1 month, the last month, and then just binge everything. Okay, and it's like $6 a month, right? And I see people saying that that's not worth it to them. And what are you getting for your $6 a month? Well, you're getting access to every episode of every Star Trek series, because every Star Trek series is up on CBS All Access. You're getting the total repertoire of shows on the CBS network. You're getting shows, classic shows that are owned by CBS, like Cheers or Frasier or, I don't know, Happy Days, The Brady Bunch. You're getting this back catalog of shows as well. And in addition to Star Trek, people always say I'm not going to pay for one show, but Star Trek is not the only show on CBS All Access. You've also got The New Twilight Zone by Jordan Peele. You've got The Good Fight, which is a spinoff of The Good Wife. There's a show called Tell Me a Story. There's a show called No Activity. There's a show created by Ridley Scott called, I can't remember what that one's called. I haven't watched it, but that's not the point. The point is, Star Trek is not the only thing on CBS All Access. So you do have a good library of content there for $6 a month, but people say it's not worth it to them. It's not worth it to pay that $6 a month because they would only be watching Star Trek. Well, you're talking about one all-new episode of Star Trek per week during the season, 4 episodes a month. That's 4 hours of Star Trek content for about $6.99 for the month. And people are saying they won't pay that. Now, I ask you this. If people aren't going to pay that, if people are saying the $6.99 a month for 4 brand new hours of Star Trek is not worth it to them, are they going to pay $20 for just 2 hours of content that they only get to watch for 48 hours? I'm going to say no. Therefore, my argument is theater at home, not a viable solution. It's not a viable solution. The theatrical model is the way to go. And this theater at home is just simply not going to take off. It's not profitable, and it's not going to be profitable. Even if you had a huge movie like an Avengers, yeah, more people would probably hop on for something like that because it's huge. But the profit margin isn't as high, so why would the studio make that kind of leap when they could put it in theaters and make a lot more money? It just doesn't make sense. No, this theater at home thing, I could see this being a thing for a little while during this brief period of time where we're stuck in our houses. But eventually, we're going to go back out into the world, and the theaters are going to open again. And I do not see this having any kind of long-term success. The movie theaters are not going anywhere. That's my prediction. I'm curious to hear what you think. Is $20 worth it for a new rental? And what about streaming services? Do you think $6 a month or $6.99 a month is worth it for a streaming service? Are you one of the people who complains about paying the $6.99 a month for a streaming service, but would pay $20 a month, or not a month, to watch a movie one time, 48 hours, and then it's gone? Is one worth it and the other not worth it? Because I see more value in the streaming service, quite frankly. And if I see people complaining about this thing that offers you more value for less money, why, if they're going to complain about that, would they then pay for this thing that offers you less content for more money? That's the way I see it. Maybe you see it differently, and I'm really curious if you do. Please write your comments down below. I want to see what you think. But I am going to call Theater from Home, or Theater at Home, an interesting experiment. I tip my hat to the studios for giving us something to watch during this period of time where we can't leave the house. But I don't see this having any long-term viability. Please tell me your thoughts. I want to hear them. Keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. I know we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.